Peace, this is Terry Whitfield, aka Yashib in Israel. Just wanting to let y'all know some real history, real research, real scholarship. What we have is some real evidence over here, real credible evidence. And what we have here is what the Hyksos was, and they were ancient black people. This here cuts through a whole bunch of lies and fallacies and false information that is given to us and through to us by the Kemetic community. Guys like Ashwa Kwesi, Jabari Osazi, Shaka Amos, Sarah Sutan Seti, and a whole bunch of those other pseudo Kemetic fake Egyptian scientists. What they're trying to say is that these people, these Hyksos were a white people who came in and invaded their land. This is what they were saying 10, 20 years ago. They were saying that the Israelite religion, the Israelite people, were white people, and they were not an African people. They were not a black people. You understand what I'm saying? And what we're saying is that the Israelite people was a black people, and all of the people in the Levant, going back 4,000 years ago, were a black people. And this is the proof and the evidence of that. This here cuts against the trash of them saying that the Israelite religion is not a black religion. It is, and as well as all of the culture of the Middle East, a black culture. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and get to this information. So there was no black culture, you know what I'm saying, being robbed and pillaged by foreign white people. Okay, that part is thrown out the window. In fact, we're going to find out that according to the information that has been given by the Smithsonian and other scholars in the field, we have come to find out that it wasn't an invasion at all, but nothing more than an uprising of people that was already inside of Egypt, 11 people already from the land of Avaris, understanding that the land of Avaris, if you was to transliterate that, that is the land of the Hebrews, because the Avar is actually Abar, which is Ibri. Avaris is actually Abari. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the gist of this information.
The Egyptian royal line and its city, Thebes, had fallen on hard times. But the ruler of Thebes and his two sons, the young princes Karmoz and his brother Akhmoz, were determined to revive Egypt's former glory. But their hatred of the Hyksos was also personal. Their father tried to rebel against the invaders in the north. He paid a terrible price. 3,500 years later, his corpse still bears witness to his brutal slaughter at the hands of the enemy. To Egyptians, these foreigners were nothing more than barbarians.
They are described as that vile foe, people who are beyond the pale. Foreigners are dirt under the feet of the Pharaoh.
Images of foreigners were carved on footstools like this, so Egyptians could show their superiority by symbolically and literally trampling on them. Nubians, Libyans, Asiatics, all were depicted as ugly, as savages, not worthy of placing a foot on Egyptian sand. But now
Nubians, Libyans, and Asiatics. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I was trying to tell y'all that the only time that the Israelites have found favor and the Asiatics and the Libyans have found favor in Egypt was up under Nubian rule. You understand? So this is the reason why when the Hyksos invasion was taking place, that the so-called Hyksos invasion was taking place, Nubia was ready to attack. Because Nubia is actually who founded Kemet to begin with. You understand what I'm saying? Not the Mizraimites, who they misnomer as Kemet. Kemet has always been a metropolis, so we can see as we look back in here, we saw that, and I want to play this again, that the evidence suggests that these were all black people. Look at this.
bears witness to his brutal slaughter at the hands of the enemy.
These were the Hyksos.
To Egyptians, these foreigners were nothing more than barbarians.
They were looking down on other black
They are
people, real
described as
black
that
men.
vile foe,
Red
people
man.
who are beyond the pale. Foreigners are dirt under the feet of the Pharaoh.
Images of foreigners were carved on footstools like this, so Egyptians could show their superiority by symbolically and literally trampling on them. Nubians, Libyans, Asiatics, all were depicted as ugly, as savages, not worthy of placing a foot on Egyptian sand.
Not worthy of placing a foot on Egyptian sand. They saying the Nubians, the Libyans. Okay, the Nubians, the Libyans, the Palestinians, okay, the people from the Levant, the Canaanites, all of these people were the people who they called as Hyksos. Let's back up out of here and let's go look at some good information I had over here. Let's take a look at this right here. Okay. Talk about the Canaanites. All of these were Levantine people, and these people were your these people were your Hyksos from Syria. Hurry up and try to make this fast. As we can see, it talk about during the Middle Assyrian Empire period, 1392 to 1056 BCEE, and the Neo-Assyrian Empire, 911 to 605 BCE, Phoenicia, what is today known as Lebanon, the Levant, Israel, of Palestine, and the coastal Syria came under Syrian rule on several occasions. Mind you that it said on several occasions, and we can see that's one of the occasions in the Middle Assyrian Empire. But I want to go down to this drop down to this third paragraph right here, okay? Because if you can see in the second paragraph, it tells you about all of these different people that compassed that particular, a region and terminology. But we want to go right here to the third paragraph, which says, to the east, in modern terms, the interior of modern Assyria, the Assyrian north, east excluded. The region has since the 24th century BC been inhabited by the Canaanite-speaking Amorites, and for a time the East Semitic-speaking Eblaites also. Thus much of this region had been known as the land of the Amaru. The Amaru, okay? So we talking about Syria. We talking about this area here that was in the interior of modern Syria with the northern part excluded. That area was called the land of the Amaru. And we talking about in 2400 BC. This is during the time of when the Hyksos first start coming into Egypt. Also, thus much of the region have been known as the land of Amaru. However, from the 12th century BC, a new Semitic group appeared in the form of the Arameans, and by the 11th century BC, this region was known as Aramea, Aram, and Ebernari. Notice that word Eber. Okay, there's a Hebrew element there, and remained named as such during the latter part of the Middle Assyrian Empire, Neo-Assyrian Empire, Neo-Babylonian Empire, and the Achaemenid Empire. Okay? The term Syria is in actuality originally a 10th century BC Indo-Anatolian name for Assyria. Centuries later applied by the Greeks during the Seleucid Empire, 311 to 150 BC. Not only to Assyria itself, but much to the Levant. So much of the Levant, okay, was most of the Levant was called Assyria or Syria. So according to in the eyes of the Egyptians, going as far back as the 10th century, okay, they were known as, I mean, and probably even before that, we have record going back a long, long time that all of the people in the Levant were seen as the same people, and the Canaanites, and all of the Israelites and the Babylonians. You see the Syrians and the Arameans, all of those Hebrews, all of those Semitic, the Amaru Canaanites, all of those people, the Amalekites, the Edomites, Moabites, Judah, Israel, the Palestinians, the people from Jordan, all of these people were seen, they were black people, and all of those black people were seen as known as the Hyksos. Okay, we got other information here I would like to look into here. Let's go take a look at one more thing, and we can back up out of that. I was doing some research on some Arabic right there. Well, just going back one out of there. Okay, and we want to go to the Canaanite rule in Egypt. Okay. Uh, Canaanite rule in Egypt. We just back up on out of there then. And I got a good one here for you. We go back to this YouTube here, and we can go check out this another page here, and we can go punch up the latest Yara video. Try to get this done as quick as possible, so I can try to go here to the 45-minute mark.
Hello, my name is Chris Rutherford, President and Publisher of Christian Faith Publishing.
Yaakov, that's one of the kings. That's an Assyrian name? That's not an Assyrian name. When they're chased out of Kemet, where are they chased to? Are they chased to Assyria? Or are they chased? When they're chased out of Kemet, where are they chased to? Are they chased to Assyria? That any person of good conscience, any person that has embraced the call to higher consciousness, any person that actually is a moral entity would have a problem with that. I would rather you celebrate Easter, brother, than to celebrate the murder of babies. And for you to say they're Assyrian babies, I don't know where you find that. You smashed some stuff together. 1,000 years together. The Syrians aren't in control of Kemet. By the way, the kings of Kemet under the Hyksos, they don't have Assyrian names. Yaakov, that's one of the kings. That's an Assyrian name? That's not an Assyrian name. When they're chased.
Now let's get to some other information that I came. Jabari just stated that these Hyksos did not have Assyrian names. Okay, and that's crazy because that's not what the scholars state. If I can go to some other information here, what I'm going to do is end this video to save time.